Counterpunch Boxing News, and I am live. Let me fix that. There we go. And by popular demand, we are talking about AJ's Dirty Dozen. I remember when we started that series, it was earlier in the week, and then all everybody could really talk about was Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois, which people are still talking about. But that does not stop us from getting the job done. There is work to be done, so let's have some fun. Bar, oh, bars. There we go. Sorry, but to recap on what we were talking about with AJ, shout out to my girl Karma Serene. She made a nice little short, which you guys know I'm trying to do more shorts, but I'm just not really a fan. Am I dead yet? Hey, Kurt and everyone, Counterpunch to you. When you guys come in, hit the like button, okay? Hit that like button, will you? All right? Because that like button will set you free. And what it will also set free is the algorithms, okay? We got Bill Keaveney. Good evening, champ. CP to you, brother. Counterpunch to you, Bill. Andre Newby. Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. That fight we're going to talk about as well, okay? Mario, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hello, brother. Brother. Reminds me of one of my millennium changing movies, which was called Romeo Must Die with Jet Li. Jet Li was saying, brother, brother, with Aaliyah, my baby. But, let's see here. Double D. Hey, Kurt, Counterpunch to you. Sup, Kurt? Ryder. Andre Newby. Hi, Kurt. Who do you think wins, Anthony Joshua or Joe Joyce? I'm not sure because, see, based on volume, I question Anthony Joshua's ability to take pressure. You know, that's what I question. Now, could he outbox Joe Joyce? Yeah, he can. Like a lot of people can until Joyce keeps hitting you. Because, see, as long as Joe Joyce can hit you, okay, and it's pretty much a death sentence. Unless you're somebody like Zhilei Zhang that hit him and hurt him. And see, what I've realized is that to beat Joe Joyce, you got to seriously inflict pain on him. You got to swell him up, you know. And I think Zhilei has came with the perfect game plan because, see, we already knew Zhilei Zhang's game plan. We already knew his kryptonite, rather. His kryptonite was his inability to keep fighting. Okay, he slows down. He's older. His testosterone is not the same, okay, as he was when he was 30. He's 40 now. Okay, so when he beat Joe Joyce, he was 30. Now, Joe Joyce is 37, but I think Joe Joyce is a young 37. He doesn't look that old. You know, he looks like he's had some wars. If you look at that, you know, warrior face, that face can tell you 1,000 stories of Joe the Juggernaut Joyce, unless he was in a very, very bad car accident. We don't know. Hey, Kurt, I hit the like button, but I'm not free. I'm still at work, man. Counterpunch to you, bro. I heard that, man. So you can work while you listen. It's called multitasking, sir. Deshaun, salute Kurt. Counterpunch Boxing News and Boxing fans. Deshaun in the building. Topentine. Juice. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think AJ can outbox him, and I think what'll happen, AJ will just try to fight him like he fought Andy Ruiz, keep him back with the jab. You know, when he gets close, throwing those punches and bunches, AJ's going to drop the hammer down to throw the right hand and then clinch, basically. It could either be a very good fight if Joe Joyce can crack open Joshua or to force Joshua into either fight or flight mode. That would be the only way that fight gets intriguing. But I see that fight, somebody like Joshua and Joyce, it would be Joyce having to take the fight to Joshua for that fight to even be a fight. Because Joshua's knowing he's a better boxer, he's going to sit in there and bop, then bop, then bop, bop, and then take a walk around the block. You know? He takes a walk around the block. He repeats the same process. Joe Joyce comes in to attack. He gets a little too close. AJ grabs him, wraps him up, the referee separates them, and then the process repeats itself. That's how I see that fight. AJ, Joe Joyce. Does Joyce beat Zhang in the rematch? I'm not sure. It was a surprise because I thought Zhang wasn't going to have enough in his tank to do what he did in 6 rounds. But to do what he did in 6 rounds was pretty damn impressive. You know? Like, I didn't even think... I thought Joe Joyce was going to drag him into deep waters to the 7th, the 8th, the 9th round. Start just welling on him, doing his thing, working the body, working upstairs, head, body, head, Mickey, and pretty much just break Zhilei Zhang down. That's what I thought was going to happen. Zhilei Zhang came in with rapid fire combinations, and the left hand could not miss Joe Joyce. Now, speaking of Joe Joyce and Zhilei Zhang 2, or should I say, sorry, Zhilei Zhang versus Joe Joyce 2. I think that's what we're going to talk about more and more. But I do think that Joe Joyce is going to have to use defense because damn if you can take shots. Well, there's a such thing as doctors and referees and swelling and other rules in place where they're concerned about your safety. And you have to be able to see out of both eyes. If not, if you can't see out of both eyes, they're going to stop the fight. We don't know when AJ becomes Bugs Femi. I don't know what that means. Does Joyce keep clear for 6 rounds and then wear him down? Yeah, I would do that. I would approach that like Usyk approached Tony Bellew. See, Usyk really didn't fight Tony Bellew until like after the 4th round because that was their game plan. Their game plan was to tire Tony Bellew out, infiltrate but not attack. And it worked. Because by the 5th and 6th round, then Usyk, you've seen Usyk coming in, making adjustments, angling those shots to land because Tony was doing these pot shots, you know, and he would pop, and then he would slip or weave under. And then what Usyk had to do, he had to time where that head's going to be. And it was quite impressive to see him kind of work through that equation of Tony Bellew to do what he did to Tony Bellew. You know what I mean? And see, when he finally caught him, bow! He caught him, and then he finished him off with another welling right and then a left chopping hook. You know what I mean? So, yeah, he has to do that, Joe. I think Joe should follow that cab because it's just let me come in and fight you, rush in and attack. That's Joe. Joe Joyce is an American Marine. That's what he is. Rush in, attack, first line of defense, go in, seek, and destroy. But what it is with Joe has to understand that if you're with a person that's just as bigger, damn near taller, if not taller, hits just as hard, and he's tough as you Hades as well, you got a problem. So he's going to have to wear him out. If I will say this about Joe Joyce and Zhilei Zhang, if Joe Joyce can make it, if he can protect his face, he will have a better chance of wearing down Zhilei Zhang in the later rounds because it won't be because he hits harder. It won't be because he's a better boxer. It won't even be because he's a harder puncher because the punches, people, don't matter when it comes to fighters versus fighters, only when they land, okay? George Foreman hit hell of a lot harder than Muhammad Ali, but what did Muhammad Ali do to George Foreman? He knocked him out. So it didn't really matter. Oh, man, I can hit the hardest. That don't matter if you can't land the target. It don't matter when you're not throwing and landing or if it's actually working. And it surely don't matter if the other person's welling on you. That question is, can you take the other person's punches? That's that question. That's the $1 million question. Because people always talk about punching power, punching power, punching power, punching power. We said the same shit about Diego Chico Corrales and Floyd. Floyd Pretty Boy Mayweather, because he was Pretty Boy by the time he fought Diego Corrales, which was in 2001, January 20th, right? I remember that day very well. And everybody talked about Diego Chico Corrales' punching power, his height, his reach advantage compared to Floyd. Floyd's 5'8", Shit, Chico Corrales is damn near 6 foot tall, right? He was a tall lightweight, okay? And the dude could knock you out. He took out Manfred. He took out a lot of guys out. He took up Robert Garcia, the trainer, the former trainer of Anthony Joshua, brother Mikey Garcia. He knocked those dudes spark out, okay? But dealing with Floyd, Pretty Boy, Mayweather, he couldn't land. He couldn't catch him, okay? So it didn't matter how hard he hit. If he couldn't land, what difference does it make? You know? Ed, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Joyce is too slow. That's why he hang on that far in his career relative to when he's been boxing. Well, he's only lost one fight. So I'll say this, Topentine or Topentine. He's done a lot better than people think he was going to do, you know, with only loss of one fight. And see, if he gets past Zili Zhang, that means he's avenged his loss. That means he can move on. That means he will still be a problem in the heavyweight division for other fighters. The only difference is now people know, well, I don't need to necessarily knock out Joe Joyce. I just need to swell him up. I just need to give him a cut. You know, I just need to deter his eyesight from stopping him from coming to me and beating me up. So if I can like that, you know what I mean? That gives me the advantage. So I can move in the direction of that swole eye. So if my left eye is swollen, you know what I mean? That guy is actually going to be going to my left. You know, move to your left at that point. Move to where the swell starts. Move where the swelling is. Am I dead yet? Who wins the rematch between Chantel Cameron and Katie Taylor? I don't know, man. I have no idea. Because Katie's a little rabbit. Joyce has no defense plus being too slow. Zhang is good for the first half of the fight, but then runs out. He sure does. Daz, anyone with speed will beat Joey because he don't know how to move. Noble in the Bolang. Kurt, do you think what Usyk did last week was the same trick versus Chisora? Manipulate Fury for a fight? Ooh, I don't know, man. I don't know. But here's the thing. If it is, we ain't going to know. Because he'll never talk about that. If he jived everybody and he looked shitty and he looked this and he looked that way and he did that shit playing possum, we'll never know until it happens. But if the fight happens and Usyk goes out there and boxes Tyson Fury and beats this man 10-8 rounds in that fight and he wins and he looks good like he did with AJ, you know what that'll tell us? Usyk really is a sneaky, gappy tooth motherfucker. That's what he is. That's what you would call Usyk because he is sneaky. That's sneaky. You're like, dude, yeah, you're a sneaky motherfucker. Because that means you tricked our ass. You wanted us to think that you were slower. You weren't the same fighter. You diminished after the AJ fights. Maybe the AJ fights took something out of you, right? And you had everybody hip to the same bullshit narrative that you're just 36 and you're ready to hang up the gloves and you're ready to kind of get that last fight before you start losing all mobility, but you're definitely not the same person that you were when you fought Joshua or Derek Chisora even, because even with Derek Chisora, he didn't look as good as he did in the Joshua fight. So it's a good question. Very good question, Noble, and because we don't know. And that very well may be the case because if Tyson Fury sees that, because you know Tyson just responded, right? He didn't say anything. He just responded with a caption of pulling his damn trunks up looking like a Mexican essay from East Los Angeles. You know what I mean? Y los vatos locos, right? He had him way up here by his tits, right? Because he was trying to say that Usyk's trunks were too high. That's why, you know, and he can't take body punishment. So, you know. Anthony Joshua versus Chisora in 2025. And you know something? That shit's crazy because at that point, you don't know where these guys will be in their career. However, Derek Chisora is so fucking stubborn and money hungry, he'll take that damn fight. AJ doesn't like it when someone who has been packaged trash talk about him. Joyce talks too much trash about AJ. And Tyson Fury. Antonio Matthews. Fury, how when the ref called it low in the Joshua fight, there wasn't a big uproar. Well, Antonio, it wasn't a big uproar because Usyk didn't respond that same way. See, in this fight, he got all down to his knees and shit. I think if, and this is what I feel, okay? I believe that if Alexander Usyk wouldn't have done what he did, his reaction wasn't that drastic. It wouldn't have been that way. You know what I mean? But then here's the thing: if Usyk was legitimately hurt from that shot, okay, yeah, he was saved by the ruling of the ref. But I think him doing that, like, did he really do that for that reason? See, everybody's saying that he's just now a cheat. Like, man, he's a cheater and stuff. But, he might have just been faking. But then again, they believe that Dubois hit him that damn hard, which, do you doubt Dubois can punch? I think Dubois can punch very fucking hard. I just think that's all he has. I've learned that in the Joe Joyce fight. He didn't have heart. Dude, come on. You were in the 10th round in that fight and you decided to take a knee. You had 2 more rounds to go. Well, the rest of that round and 2 more rounds after that. You were closer to ending that fight than anything, and you quit. You could have moved out the way and just boxed Joe Joyce. That's what somebody with some fucking heart will do. And then see, what people did was they used the result of what happened to him ultimately and based that on his justification to take a knee, which ain't right. Daniel Dubois quit in the Joe Joyce fight. He quit. He took a knee. And that just showed you he was like, I'm not willing to fight because my fucking eye's swollen and it hurts. It's supposed to fucking hurt because you're getting punched in it over and over again. Now, figuring out he had an orbital bone or it could have been all this, that, and the other. Dude, I don't want to hear that shit. I just don't buy it. You know what I mean? I don't buy that. You know what I mean? Because he did not know it was broken before he took that knee. He just took that knee because he couldn't, and he didn't like the idea of getting punched over and over and over again. That's the truth of the matter. Now, the result was he did have a broken eye, and maybe you could say that, but that wasn't the reason why he quit. He quit because he fucking wanted to. Do you guys understand that? He quit because he wanted to. Period. Yeah, he whooped Chico. Yeah, he did. It was 9th round, Kurt. Danny Dubois? Was it 9th round? Was it? I thought it was the 10th round. Could be wrong. Skrilla 50. Triple D was up on the scorecards in the Joyce fight before he quit. Yeah, see, man, because see, Joe, and then you know what I haven't noticed from Danny Dubois, though? He doesn't throw those punches like that no more. He used to be rather explosive for a guy his size. He wasn't the fastest guy, but he had some explosive combinations, and they were like 3, 4, 5 punch combinations. And we don't see that. Oh, 100% 9th round? Well, that still doesn't stop and change my mind on him quitting. He quit. He quit against Joe Joyce. That wasn't nothing that he discussed with his corner. He decided to do that shit. I seen the Dubois-Usyk fight again this morning before I went to sleep, okay? And I noticed that when he did continue in the 5th round, he did for a bit, put on a rally. He did. But, I mean, it wasn't like what he could have done. And that's one thing his trainer said, I wish I would have seen more of. Okay, so the UK treat Dubois like he's in a bubble wrap. I know Joshua would be like, what the fuck? No wonder he trains in Dallas now. Yeah, Joshua, man, and it lets you know, though, there's levels to this. All this tells you about AJ and what people thought of AJ versus what we're seeing about Danny Dubois. They thought Danny Dubois was a Queensberry version of AJ. They thought he was going to be that guy that starts knocking guys out, and he has the good fights. He has the best type of promotion. He gets all the accolades and concessions, other than guys like Joe Joyce, which was reasonable because Joe Joyce was a lot old. Joe Joyce was about 35 years old when he fought Danny Dubois. That was, a couple of years ago, right? Was that 2021 or 2020? No, it was 2020, right? He could have kept his hands up and boxed and moved to finish the remaining 6 minutes, and he quit in the 10th round. Just Googled it. It was the 10th round. Okay, I thought it was the 10th. Because I was like, dude, you know what I mean? Because they had got past those rounds. I know it was the motherfucker quit in the championship rounds. Who the fuck does that? But listen. If AJ would have quit like Dubois, AJ would have had the same treatment and the same criticism, and you know what I mean. And we would have had to see the same. He just made more money, but it would have been more of a disappointment for AJ because AJ was a champion. AJ had got collected belts after belts from different fighters, from Charles Martin to Joseph Parker to the great Klitschko. Like he had done a lot of these things early on in his career, and he was still undefeated. You know what I mean? And then he started knocking out mandatories. You know what I mean? Because Alexander Povetkin, see, what people don't understand about Povetkin's ass is Povetkin was a guy that was once beaten, and that was by the great Klitschko, just like Pulev. He taxed Pulev's ass too. Fuck Pulev up. But he taxed that ass too. But all these guys were undefeated when they went in there against Vladimir Klitschko. See, Joshua was another person that I thought that wasn't going to make the bell, that wasn't going to make that final bell against Klitschko. I didn't think AJ, and I liked AJ. It wouldn't affect that I didn't. Me and my dad saw, before I started my channel, me and my dad used to watch boxing all the time. He's either me and my dad, me and my homeboy John Cinco, which he comes to my house sometimes. And he was on a couple lives, or me and my buddy Hop, because he has a nice little outdoor patio where he has barbecue and all that stuff, beer, and he has that extra festive, environment and setting. So he has a big, huge back screen in his patio, and we're just watching it, chilling. It looks like one of those old 19. The way he has his patio set up, it kind of reminds you of like a patio in the valley in California. It's real nice. But when I saw AJ, and I was with my pops, right? I seen him, and he, I was like, damn, this dude's gonna be pretty damn good, because the way he laid out Charles Martin. It's like, damn. Because I seen the Charles Martin fight when he fought that, I forget his name. It was Glasscoff or some shit like that. I don't know. But, he had a knee injury, and I was like, damn, that's a hell of a way to win a belt. You know what I mean? AJ was philosophical Thanos. Yeah, he was. Philosophical, definitely. Don, legal in your opinion, but according to the WBA, the authority in the ring, low blow. Oh yeah, we're talking about the low blow. Yeah, that shit's crouch gate. Crouch gate cometh. Oh shit, hold on. Okay. Got my water for it. Froze. Good stuff. Nobody gave AJ a chance to beat Klitschko. I didn't. I'm just going to keep it 100. I didn't have AJ beating Klitschko. See, Klitschko already got tricked by the Gypsy. See, Tyson Fury, we saw that fight. Me and my dad saw most heavyweight fights. And especially like in 15 and 2016. We didn't see Wilder though. My dad didn't know Wilder. But we saw Vladimir, AJ. We saw Fury, Klitschko, and my dad was like, "Dude, who is this dude?" Because he starts singing after. Nobody sang the song after they won. You know what I mean? It actually could carry a damn tune. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Tyson Fury was really my dad loves Tyson Fury because he's just like, yeah, the bald-headed white guy, yeah, the big gypsy. That's what he calls him, the big gypsy. He calls the big gypsy. He calls AJ Pretty Boy. He calls Bernard Hopkins. He calls him hardcore. Who else is he? What else is he? Because he always has these nicknames, man. AJ was heavy betting favorite in the UK for the Vlad fight. Was he? Got tricked by his baby mama. Klitschko's were like the Lord Vada and the Sith Lord. I don't know who those are. Cue ball. Shorts weren't high. They were under his navel. Most fighters pull their shorts up to their damn chest. Yeah, that's what Fury was doing when he was mimicking Alexander Usyk. Vitaly Klitschko retiring and giving up the WBC belt is the only reason Wilder was put on the map. Well, it was the only thing that he could do. And see, this is what Shelley did. Shelley was like, okay, look, I got a fighter. He's a hard-hitting guy. He's never been defeated. He's green, but we want a champion in the Americas, okay? Because who did the other belts belong to? The same guy that he managed. Vladimir Klitschko had the rest of them, okay? So, or he had the rest of them. Tyson Fury had the other ones. But Tyson Fury then, the IBF left because they had a mandatory, they're strict as shit. They left him. In the WBA and the WBO, they dissolved back. And the IBF. Well, the IBF was up for grabs, okay, because they were stripped because he didn't fight the mandatory, which I thought was shitty. That's not Tyson's fault. That would have happened to anybody. If Vladimir would have won, he would have been stripped, unless he had or made that fight with whoever the mandatory was at the time. Okay, so but as far as back to Wilder, that was their best opportunity. Okay, they weren't going to fight Vitaly for it. You know what I mean? Vitaly would have destroyed Wilder. Wilder had that punch, but Vitaly, he wasn't going to beat Vitaly Klitschko, man. Let's put that shit, no, you forget about that. But see, Shelley knew that. Shelley not only didn't want to see Wilder in there with Vitaly, he didn't want to see him in there with Vladimir either. So he did make the fights happen. I explained that yesterday before I had to split, okay? But just to kind of wrap that and put that to bed, Shelley Finkel kept Wilder clear of the Klitschkos, okay, altogether. Because he knew, look, I've been managing these guys for a long time. They've been champion for a long time. Wilder, that's the baby champion. Meaning, I don't think he meant it as disrespect. Okay, I don't. I think he meant it because Shelley Finkel and Wilder have this bond. They do. Shelley Finkel is down there 90 years old. He's known Deontay for the longest. He also managed, besides the Klitschkos, Mike Tyson. Okay, so he's been around for a very long time. I don't know what these promoters and these managers eat because they stay alive. They got long jeopardy, right? But Wilder didn't have that opportunity because Shelley protected him from doing that. Look, Wilder probably would have had 2 or 3 losses before ever getting the belt, fighting for a belt, if Shelley Finkel decided, let me allow Deontay Wilder to sink or swim. Okay? So if he had allowed those fights, Wilder probably would have had a loss or 2. You know what I mean? Now, one thing we will see, I don't think he would have given up or whatever, but he wouldn't have beat those guys, man. You know what I mean? See, here's the question. All right, let me ask you guys, since we got 70 on here to prove my point. Do you think Wilder, Deontay Wilder, would have beat Vladimir Klitschko the night Vladimir Klitschko fought Anthony Joshua? By Y's and no's, do you think, again, Y for yes, N for no, do you think that the Wilder of that time, I'm not talking about the motherfucker now with Malik Scott, I'm talking about the Deontay Wilder of 2017, do you think he would have beat that Klitschko that fought AJ? No, no, no. You reckon Vitaly would get up from a Wilder right hand? No, no. I'm not talking about Vitaly. Vitaly was retired. I'm talking about Vladimir Klitschko, the same Vladimir Klitschko that fought AJ. No, 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 no. Hell no. Let's see it. Do you think, okay, for the ones that, people that just came on, because people come and go, we're voting. Do you think Wilder, the version of Wilder in 2017, it only matters if it's the right time frame. I'm not talking about some fantasy shit. I'm talking about the Wilder in 2017. Would he have beaten the Vladimir Klitschko of 2017 that fought AJ? Flow state. You, sir, are the resistance. Because every fucking body else and their mom and uncle and cousins and friends are saying hell to the no. And I don't think he would have either. I think Vladimir Klitschko would have beat up Wilder. I would think he would have. In fact, Wilder was there commentating that fight. Nobody said shit about him fighting, or unless he didn't say anything about himself fighting Vladimir. Now, here's the thing. Was that by design? Because, I mean, Wilder really kind of got real bold around last ass of 17 and 18. He was starting to cocoon, okay? He was starting to cocoon. And he was starting to really speak his mind. He was starting to, hey, don't wait, make the date, mate, shit like that. Well, you know, he wasn't saying that in 17. You know what I mean? You didn't even hear him. And you would think he was there and he would be in place there as a commentator, as a champion, the WBC champion, the WBC heavyweight champion of the world. You think he would be there to stake his claim like, look, AJ, good performance, but I want to fight you next. None of that shit took place. See, nobody talks about that. And these are when you had Vladimir Klitschko battling AJ, or should I say AJ battling Klitschko, for the WBA heavyweight champion of the world. And at the same time, just fucking feet like inches away, right? You had Deontay Wilder right there calling the fight. I don't think, I don't know, to be honest. The Vladimir who fought AJ would have beat anyone else in the division that night. Skrilla 50, he was a bad boy. I don't know about any, well, at that time, probably, you know what I mean? But I would go as far as to say this. I think Vladimir was training for Fury, and then Fury flaked out because he claimed mental instability, drug use, and all types of other stuff went on with him. He was not available to fight. In fact, in 2017, he was like 400 pounds, 300 or some odd pounds. I think he had began losing weight at that time because remember, he fought in 18. Okay, so he at that time he was in recovery, trying to lose all that damn weight that he accumulated. Him and his good friend, or best friend, what's his name? Ben? Wilder called out AJ on the Vlad night. Philip, Wilder called out AJ on the Vlad night. Now, Philip, if you can supply me, Philip, if you can supply me with the link for that, inbox it to me. I will do a video on it, supporting you. On top of that, I will send you, wherever you are on this planet, a free Counterpunch Boxing News shirt. If you can supply me that info, DeVille Kurt is my Instagram name. So if you guys don't know, DeVille Kurt, not Kurt DeVille, DeVille Kurt, right? All lowercase. That's what it is. If you can supply me with that video, with that link that Wilder called out Vladimir, or AJ, the night AJ beat Vladimir, I will do that for you. Okay? I'm live, so this is 35 minutes, 30 seconds. Okay, so 35 minutes into this, this is where you can find what I just said as proof, as evidence. What info? Too black. I heard Philip in the chat say Wilder called out AJ the night AJ knocked out Vladimir in the 11th. I never seen that. I'm doubting that, honestly. But if he can supply me with the link of the source or the video that Wilder called out AJ, I told him I will find him, inbox me with the evidence, with the link, okay? And I will send him a free shirt. Because I never seen that shit at all. That was the point I was making, because it sounded strange to me that Wilder did not call out AJ that night. No, he didn't. All he did was give Joshua a fist bump. That's all I saw. I saw that shit. He reached up and he gave, because AJ looked down. Wilder was there. Now, matter of fact, you know how long ago that shit was? AJ ain't seen Deontay Wilder since then. Those men probably are in the same vicinity is probably Floyd and Manny. And then when Floyd and Manny saw each other, that's how that fight was made, because they actually saw each other face to face at a basketball game. Because they're both real big fans of basketball. Manny Pacquiao has his own Filipino league in the Philippines. Shit, how do I get a shirt, bro? Mr. Crow, inbox me, DeVille Kurt, Instagram. Oh, right, I don't think he did. No, I don't think he did either. We would have saw that, bro. And the energy that we saw Wilder throw in there was for Tony Bellew, because Tony Bellew was going back and forth with Deontay Wilder. Remember, like, you're dirty rat, I'll fight you. You ain't ready for me, boy. You ain't ready for me, right? And they were going back and forth. What's up, Kurt D? I don't think Wilder AJ happens next. I hope it does. Shit. How do I get that shirt, bro? Oh, wasn't that the infamous Billy Joe chicken shop incident? No. The chicken shop incident with Billy Joe and Wilder and company happened in 2018 at the ass end, when Wilder was going to fight Fury. Fury and Billy Joe were like this. I don't know if they're still like that. I've heard rumors that they kind of split up because of the incident with Billy Joe's dad, the night that Canelo cracked open Billy Joe's eye and jacked it up, and his dad tried to run to see how he was doing, and the security shoved him, and fucking Tyson Fury and his brother Tommy, they just sat back there like some fucking punks. You know what I mean? That's not the gypsy way of what I understand. You know what I mean? The traveler way is you jump on a traveler, all of those travelers are going to come get you. Am I right or am I wrong? I could be wrong. I've never been to England. I've been to Europe, but I've never been to England. So I don't know any. So if somebody can correct me, please do. That know what the hell, okay? St. Dunn, I remember that fight. Brutal. Wilder on TalkSport after beating Harrison, he was humbled and likable back then. Yeah, he was a different guy. He had a short haircut and shit. He was respectful. He wore suits. He was an American country boy. That's what he was. From Alabama. Not saying he's not now, but now he's more Nubian. Now he's more like bohemian looking. Not even really bohemian, just like he's more now in tune with, spirits and stuff like that. You're 100% right, Kurt. I'm just saying. Don't get me wrong. If Wilder called out Joshua, he had to just tell that, I want to fight Joshua. I want Joshua. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, hey, a big profession, right? He didn't, he didn't come out and yell out and proclaim that he wanted to fight that man. He didn't. Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz 3. Now, Andy Ruiz fighting Joshua again. You know what's funny, though? I think Andy Ruiz gets Joshua now. I think he gets him because he knows how to beat him. And I think with Andy knows this is the last draw. It's not going to be against Wilder. It's not going to be against Fury. It's not going to be against a lot of people because this heavyweight division, or really boxing in general, is like for certain fighters, it's only one avenue of success or progression. You're either going up that one avenue. You're not going down that one and then starting another one. Obviously, you don't see that. So, in other words, like we can't see a Wilder and Ruiz or a Ruiz and Tyson Fury. You know what I'm saying? We don't get a Tyson Fury and AJ. And, we're not getting these fights. We're getting certain fighters only fighting certain other fighters of a certain status. Okay? Or stature. That's all we're seeing. So, AJ's here. Tyson Fury's in the middle. And Wilder's over here. So, what's under Wilder? Brazil, Luis Ortiz twice. We didn't see a Luis Ortiz versus AJ or Luis Ortiz versus Tyson Fury. No, we don't get that fucking lucky in boxing. We only see certain fighters go up certain avenues, and that's the only avenue that they're only allowed to go down or to venture upon. And it makes me sick. So, AJ having Andy Ruiz as that avenue of his own progression and success, that's the only guy that I see can probably want to fight that guy. Jared Anderson versus Andy Ruiz. Let's see it. I would love to see that fight. Jared Anderson, this is the problem with Jared. Jared has to fight these dudes. Okay, Charles Martin, check. Now you got to fight Frank Sanchez or Michael Hunter. Either one of those dudes, bro. Michael Hunter or Frank Sanchez. Okay, those are dangerous guys because they're very, very underrated because the top dudes stay the fuck away from them, if you noticed. You don't have Tyson Fury trying to fight Jared Anderson or Michael Hunter. He could have fought any of those dudes. He wanted to fight Francis Ngannou because he wants to stay where the money is. Wilder's like, I only want money fights now. I've knocked out Hellenius and damn near killed him last year. But now my money, I'm not worried about Andy Ruiz wanting too much of the money that I'm trying to offer him. So I'm going for the big payout. And that's Joshua. And Joshua, I think, is doing the same. So all these guys are up here at this level are all doing the same shit. Where you got these hungry young lions or experienced, very skillful fighters like Frank Sanchez, Michael Hunter, then you got Jared Anderson, then you got Bakali's big hard-hitting ass somewhere. He got beat by Michael Hunter. Remember that? So it's a lot of fighters that's there. Then you got Usyk up there, and he's kind of like that resistance of guys that now he has to take on the job because he won the responsibility for beating Anthony Joshua, so he has to do what Anthony Joshua did. That's what being a champion is. Okay, that's it. In a nutshell. So he's doing that. So, there's Dubois, check. Then there's Hrgovic next, check. Then possibly that's Tyson Fury some point of next year. But understand this. Jared Anderson has to fight one of those dudes. Maybe Efe Ajagba, but Efe Ajagba would probably be the most realistic. Why? Because they fight on the same network. They've sparred together. They know each other. They're both young. Jared Anderson's a lot younger. Efe Ajagba's like 28. He's still young, bro. You know what I mean? So he has to fight someone like that. He may get an opportunity to fight someone like Joseph Parker, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Because he's another former WBO champion. So, yeah, but he's going to have to fight somebody. And eventually, the people that he's going to have to fight are going to be much more competitive because they're hungrier. I don't know how hungry Michael Hunter is, really. Because I think Michael Hunter knows he's got a niche of fighting as a sparring partner for a lot of these high hitters. He was in Joshua's camp for when he was preparing for Dillian White. So we already know that this guy here is kind of like, all right, I'm getting paid doing this. So I don't know how hungry Michael Hunter is. But Jared Anderson, I don't think he's hungry. I think he's hard up for cash. And I think he wants to fight the best fights with the most money and fast as he can as possible. Because he's trying to make the money and get out. The only problem with that is if he's trying to crash and burn and like, hey, I don't want to be, but I want to retire at 28 or 29, some fucking Nurmagomedov type shit, he's going to wind up broke at a certain part in his 30s that he didn't anticipate. So if he does fight these guys and he does get these big fights and he does make this money, he has to invest. Because he's talking about, man, I want to fight these fights real fast. Let's get them over with. I'm the best in the world, yada, yada, yada. But then he's not trying to fight for a long period of time. Fighters like Arturo Gatti, for example. Arturo Gatti had $6 million when he died. That's a substantial amount of money. You know what I mean? But Arturo Gatti fought for, what, 15 years. Andre Ward, same shit. Andre Ward's been fighting since he was a kid. Timothy Bradley, same thing. Two-time welterweight champion. Okay, those guys been fighting for a long time. They've made the fight purses to retire on. Okay? You know what I'm saying? So, like, with Jared Anderson, Jared has to be careful of, you know, hey, I want to fight. I want to get this money. I want to get this money quick so I can get out. Well, understand, you have to fight and put in that time to make investments, okay, to have your money saved, a certain amount of money. I don't mean a couple $100,000 or maybe $1 million, because that shit can eat up in a couple years. All you got to do is buy a house and get a family. That shit's, they're going to eat that $1 million up. You know what I mean? Especially if there's no money coming in. Effie's good for Anderson. Yeah. I mean, they're both with ESPN, so I don't think, you know, Andy Ruiz is a PBC guy. He's every other guy, actually, until it comes to guys that, you know, he could fight. No, I'm with PBC. No, you were with Andy Ruiz Sr. That's what you're with. Your captain speaking band, Mr. Crow. It was a bit of back and forth on the ball shots. Yeah, they were both hitting each other low. Yeah. Kevin Knight, he can make $100 million by 30 years old if he wins. He's a heavyweight, 30 million or 40 million for sure. Win, get some KO. Well, here's the thing, Kevin. He has to fight somebody that's already there to make that type of money to demand that type of money. You ain't getting $30-40 million fighting fucking Effie Ajagba. He has to get, like, this is what's going to happen with Jared Anderson. Jared Anderson is going to have to keep fighting, keep winning, keep being impressive, not having breakdowns, not saying what I don't like. People don't want to hear that shit because people look at you at this point as a person that doesn't love the sport. Bro, we're fans of the sport. So to hear a fighter say that shit, he ain't the only one though. Artur Beterbiev has said the same thing. Man, I don't love boxing. I don't like boxing, but you know, he's good at doing it. But Artur Beterbiev is a freaking beast. He's a beast, bro. A beast from the east. By way of the north, because he lives in Canada right now. But yeah, he said the same thing. But like, he's been like, that's 19 wins, no losses, no draws, 19 by KO. He stops everybody he's in there with. That's pretty impressive. And he doesn't make that type of money. Hell yeah, he's got to fight the best. He has to fight the best, but then it has to be someone that sparks interest, that shows some type of resistance, some type of challenge. You're not going to give him $20-30 million to fight somebody that is not worthy or people don't feel that's on the level. I mean, business people, networks, they're not stupid. You know, they have their own analysts and own breakdown people that see what type of projections fighters make based on their skill set, based on what they can do, based on who they fought. Yeah, beat the best. Yeah, he has to fight those guys. Frank Sanchez would beat the brakes off of Crybaby Anderson. King KO. That person, Frank Sanchez, being undefeated, having 20 some odd victories, pretty decent knockout percentage, If he keeps winning, he would be the guy. And see, here's the thing. Which one of those dudes on their own respected networks, Jared Anderson on ESPN, Frank Sanchez on PBC, which one of those guys are going to catapult to be that star? That's who's going to have to demand the most money. And if I had to put my money on it, it would be Jared Anderson because they are promoting the hell out of Jared Anderson, Big Baby. They're promoting the Hades out of him, okay? Whereas Frank Sanchez, okay, I don't know if this is necessarily true. Looking at Frank, seeing the weight gain of Frank, knowing that he just had a baby, he just had a birthday. I'm friends with Frank. I know Frank. I will be rooting for Frank if he fights Jared Anderson. I'm letting you guys know that now. He's a Cuban. He's very talented. When he was a novice, that's when we met when he was a novice. We walked around town, we ate and stuff, hung out and stuff like that. We chat from time to time. I'm doing a entrevista with him, which is an interview with him. But it will be in Spanish. So if you Spanish speakers, stay tuned for that. But nonetheless, I've seen Frank. When I've met him, he was thin. And matter of fact, I was maybe about 230 at the time. He's an inch taller than me. Maybe, yeah. He's an inch taller than I am. But I seen him thin, mobile, quick, explosive. You know what I mean? You could tell, like, yo, this guy here isn't, he's going to do something in the sport. Well, understand, a lot of Cubans are like that when they defect. They're strong, they're hungry, they're slim, you know what I mean? And a lot of times they come over with this type of arrogance because 9 times out of 10, most Cuban fighters have already beat the champions that are current at that time. Okay? So let me give you an example. Ugas beat Crawford. You see what I mean? A lot of people, those Cubans have fighted. The problem with Cubans, though, they see on American television, or really now media, and they see guys that they beat, and they're all millionaires, and they're like, what the fuck? We're sitting here in this bullshit on this dirty ass town, La Lisa, or Norte, or north of Havana. And they're like, okay, well, wait a minute. Why don't I have that? Oh, that's right. I'm stuck in this shithole right now because my country don't support professional boxing. What the fuck? Okay. So that's what it is. So you're looking at Sanchez. Sanchez comes over like Lara, like Rigondeaux, but the only thing that helped Lara, Rigondeaux, and those guys like that, they knew they had to make a certain weight. And knowing you can make certain weights keeps you into a certain perspective, discipline-wise. So they know, okay, well, I got to make this weight. Well, it's heavyweights. You don't have to fucking make a weight. You're a heavyweight. And being that Frank Sanchez is a heavyweight, all right, he's able to gain some weight. But he's also made some money. He's made some cash. He's got these fight purses. You give a Cuban fighter fighting for the first time, and he receives a first real check, and that mother sucker's 200, 300,000. What? You're painting the town red. You got 300,000. Now you got your girlfriend. Now you got your sex appeal. Now you got people. You know what I mean? You're in Miami chilling. Come on, man. Miami and Ocean Drive, driving. Hey, right? Right. And then you're doing all this, and and you got this money, and then you got your girl, and you got this environment, and you're successful. It's a temptation, people, to get comfortable. Okay, so yeah, when you see someone like that, you're like, okay, well, damn, it's I never had this shit. It's the equivalent though of what happened to Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz beat Anthony Joshua, and the motherfucker got comfortable. He got comfortable. Okay. Why do Triple D look like he made of Play-Doh? Because I don't know, man. Daniel Dubois, I kind of feel bad for him, but I just think maybe Daniel Dubois is not what we thought he was. I don't think he is what we thought he was. I don't. I've been learning to throw Russian hooks. What the fuck? Okay, hold on a second. All right, there we go. Dubois will probably fight Fury next. Man, if Dubois ends up fighting Tyson Fury for the WBC heavyweight champion of the world, I'm going to clown Tyson so hard I'm going to run him out of boxing. Because there's no way or no reason that Danny Dubois should get a fucking title fight against Tyson Fury, especially when you have guys like Frank Sanchez that are number 4 ranked. Kurt, real question. Anderson versus Jarrell Miller. I've seen Big Baby Miller lately. He's trying to trim that weight, and I think it's extra hard because he doesn't have the substance diet. Okay, he doesn't have the help of banned substances or whatever. I think I think Anderson with the speed and the elusiveness could just box him. But then see Jarrell Miller, I think Jarrell Miller is very durable. I think he's durable, but I just think he really needs to, say fuck the cheeseburgers, fuck the bad habits, um, drop the sex pills, um, and he really needs to have a life change. I think. Yeah, I actually feel sorry for Triple D. If he goes in against Fury, that's really sickening. If Frank Warren does that, he's gonna have demons from that fight. He might never accept that it was low and he quit. Big Baby Miller won't ever get there, in my opinion. Anderson's activity will beat Miller. Yeah, he could just box him and throw combinations and box him and throw combinations. It would be somebody the equivalent of fighting. Well, Jarrell Miller is pretty damn. He's pretty big, man. But if Jarrell had harder punching power, I think he would give Anderson more trouble. But no, Anderson outboxes him all day, bro. I can see it. 80-20 Monday is the deadline. I'll fight you, Daniel Dubois. I know you beat the little rabbit. Let me tell you something. I'll fight you right after Ngannou. I'll fight you the same night as Ngannou. I know you're a warrior. I know he cheated you. He's a sneaky, ugly, little gappy-toothed bastard. And I will take you on and give you the opportunity to fight for the WBC Heavy Championship of the world, you dulcer. Soft belly. Soft belly. I'll never give you an opportunity. Ha! The UK would support a Fury Dubois fight. They would rep that shit, fight hard off a low blow. Yeah. I'll give you the opportunity, Dubois. You deserve it, Triple D. Call Frank Warren. Monday is the deadline. Well, Tyson, he's not ready to fight. He's not cleared. He's not cleared to fight. Tell the Dulce if he wants to make $10 million to call me. You think Dubois won't do that shit for $10 million? Shit, I would. I'd fight Tyson Fury for $10 million. Shit. I'd get boxed to death, big ass Tyson. But I'd fight big ass Tyson. I'm just, me personally, I'm afraid of Wilder. I wouldn't go in the ring with Wilder. Wilder ain't, it's just, I just see that shit. Wilder, boom! Hell no, nah. You ain't gonna clown me. I come back. What's up, fight fans? What's up, Kurt? Down. Kurt down to this day. Nah. Yes, I wasn't doping. I was. It was a pill for that to get that night. The impression of Tyson Fury losing to Dubois, and then he hits him with a low blow, and the ref ignores it. Can only knock me out once. Pay me. Yeah, damn right. Damn right, people. Tyson hitting Dubois with a low blow. It was a body shot on the belt line. It's the belt line! Little soft belly! You a little ugly bastard! Dalsa! Yeah, man. But no, man. So, yeah, Miller, I don't know, since, he is part of AJ's Dirty Dozen. He's a part of AJ's Dirty Dozen. And, we don't really know, honestly, how Jarrell would probably come back. I mean, he just has to keep fighting until he lands. But he has to stay clean. I think people will always remember Jarrell Miller as a drug cheat unless he beats someone worth of shit and they test him and everything's a go. Dillian White, I don't know. I think Dillian White should retire at this point because if he's just okay, here's two scenarios for Dillian White. One, he was doping, and that means he needed it. That means he needs to sit the fuck down because he doesn't have the confidence in his own ability without cheating. Two, if there was people that put Dillian White's shit in a contaminated status or sabotage, that means there's certain people that don't want Dillian White to go far to get the big fights like he was going to get again against AJ. And therefore he should quit because if the system is against you like that, you can't win. Like I told Wilder fans, if what people are claiming about Wilder being cheated the way people said he was with the WBC, with the Nevada State Athletic Commission, with the referee, with the trainer, if all those things are true, you can't do shit about it. Sorry. Okay, because now the system is against you and it's rigged for your downfall. So if they have something in play like fucking with your drugs or your testing, you're not going to be allowed to fight because they're going to make it impossible for you to get the opportunity based on the powers that they have over you. It's Deontay Wilder's low-key profile. White's finish, whether he's guilty or not, he's tainted now. Yeah. Look, dude, since 2020, Dillian White's stock has dropped. Let's just be real. That shit with Povetkin, and this is what I wanted to tell you guys about Povetkin. That Povetkin that got beat by Vladimir Klitschko, okay, went 12 rounds with Klitschko. Then he goes, breaks fucking Anthony Joshua's nose. That's his second defeat ever. Knocked out Price. Remember what he did to David Price in a war? Big ass hard hitting David Price. This dude leaps out of nowhere, right? And knocks him out. Then what happens? Dillian White thinking, hey, I'm going to fight another AJ leftover. Because you remember he fought Joseph Parker. Right? He fought Joseph Parker. He fought Lucas Brown, Joseph Parker in 2018. And then 2019, he knocks out Derek Chisora and he fights Oscar Rivas. Okay, so that's his itinerary. So in those 2 years, those 4 fights. In 2020, when COVID came around, he called himself, well, hey, I'm going to fight Alexander Povetkin. He dropped Povetkin twice, but then he revealed his kryptonite for the last and final time to make people understand that Dillian White definitely has a weak spot. He was knocked out cold, round 5. They had to supply oxygen for this man. And at that point, his stock began to drop because by the time he fought Povetkin again, Povetkin was a shell of himself because he had caught that plague that plagued the world at the time, that disease that plagued the world, which was COVID-19. he was sick as shit for a long time. They kept pushing it back. They kept pushing it back. They kept pushing it back. And then by the third time they pushed the fight and rescheduled it, I was thinking to myself, like, Dillian, give it up. Give it up. It would be better for him not to even fight Povetkin because it wasn't a win. It was a lose-lose situation. Okay, well, he knocked you spark out in 2020, but he's sick as shit now. He has fluid on his lungs and shit. Has SARS, they call it. He was weak. He wasn't no good, bro. Man, that uppercut was beautiful, bro. And I remember Dean telling me that he kept trying to tell Dillian, like, dude, he's going to your fucking body too much. He's gonna come upstairs with something, and it's not gonna be pretty. But he wasn't allowed to at Dillian White's corner because you had Sam. What was it? Now, who did you have? I had a gang of fucking people. You had like 2 or 3 people over there. Yeah, you had a lot of people. Was that Mark Hicks? Was it? Huh. Amir Khan is the best mate. Is best mates with Khabib. Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder next in January. Let's do it. North London. Wilder ducked Ruiz. Wilder will duck AJ again. Well, I'll say this. If he ducks Joshua or that fight doesn't happen, he should just retire from the sport. Because he's not like, the only reason I would see Wilder ducking AJ would be if that Usyk fight is available. Wilder is looking really good. He's throwing 121 combos and the 121 to the body. And that right hand post combo, that's some tall guy hit. I love that he's going to the body. Yeah. You remember in the third fight with Tyson Fury, he went to the body like at the first minute of that fight. He was tuh, tuh, tuh. Tuh, tuh. From the British Kurt, counterpunch to you, Andre newbie. But no, so Dillian White, part of the Dirty Dozen. Yeah, I think it's over for him. I don't think, because by the time he clears it up, he's 35. He didn't look great against the Franklin fight. Then you got more of this shit, so he's never going to really live that down. The only thing is he's like second worst to like Jarrell Miller. And Jarrell Miller, another one of AJ's Dirty Dozen. Now Helenius. Well, Helenius is a guy that I think he's out anyway. I don't think Helenius should give a shit about anything because you fought a former champion in Deontay Wilder. You got knocked out. You got knocked out by Joshua. You got knocked out by Gerald Washington. And his Kalnaki defeats, he dethroned Kalnaki, which is pretty much his claim to fame. Wilder could have won that fight if he kept throwing the jab to the body. Yeah. Hearn said if the Wilder fight doesn't happen, they'll fight internationally. I could see Joshua fighting Miller. Yeah, I would want to see that fight. I want to see that fight anyway. That is probably one of the biggest fights in this era of heavyweight boxing that we did not see due to being dirty. White and Vlad Klitschko, Bitchko, could not even touch Fury. North London Fury went life and death with me, Dillian White. I just want to see the AJ versus Miller gloves are off. Yeah, they should release that, man. And they recorded it. And you know something? Miller won because they start freestyling, and then Miller, like being from Brooklynites, you shit. You say he ate Miller, he ate AJ up. I think because AJ was talking about it. AJ was saying like I started skipping on words. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they really went head to head for like a. It was man. Listen, that fight, bro, changed heavyweight boxing. It did. It changed heavyweight boxing. They should also release the Joshua versus White two gloves are off. Well, they should release all of them. And I think the company that makes gloves are off should understand that, like, hey, there is a demand for those type of things. And what they should do, they should have it as special content or whatever. Yeah. Scott not releasing that. Joshua got torched. Yeah, he did. But Joshua said, man, and I think that really showed that Joshua did not like Jarrell Miller. Jarrell Miller didn't like Joshua, but Jarrell Miller, I don't think, had anything personal against Joshua. He didn't like him because of how he was. He just didn't like his attitude. Joshua, because he talked so much shit, Joshua made it his business to try to fuck Jarrell Miller up. Uh-huh. Joshua versus Usyk 3. I don't want to see that, man. I don't want to see Joshua and Usyk again. Joyce versus Zhang 2 should have been in China. That would have been an amazing atmosphere, man. Chinese would have showed up and showed out. But yeah, man. So you have Helenius. I think Helenius should retire. If he's not retired, I think Dillian White should retire, and I think Jarrell Miller needs to redeem himself because they are all a part of this circle, of this unpopular circle, being AJ former fighters. Anthony Joshua versus Tommy Fury. Dude, you got to be fair now because when he hits Tommy, he's gonna knock him spark out. And then Tyson Fury's gonna, you know what? I bet you what happens if he knocks out Tommy Fury. I bet you Tyson Fury jumps in there like he's Vitali. You remember when Vitali tried to fight AJ when he knocked out Vladimir? Vitali was trying to get at AJ's shit. I don't know what happened. Vitali came, I was fans, get fans. I'm like, damn, whoa. Now crack your face. Missed opportunity for Frank Warren. And no, AJ versus Usyk is done. That's one guy I wouldn't like to get in a fight with. Miller could take a sledgehammer to the chest without Bud coughing. Yeah, Miller's durable though. That's the thing. And if Miller could hit hard, he would kind of be with the same, besides the drug shit, but he would have the same type of impact of someone like Joe Joyce. Because I haven't heard of Jarrell Miller being knocked down. Now I heard that he was knocked down in sparring from Tyson Fury. Joshua versus Parker 2. That's not even in demand. Who the fuck wants to see that? I don't. You know what I mean? Like, the only way I would watch a fight like that, I mean, if they make it, I would watch it. But the only way that would happen if Joshua gets beat again and then he's just kind of like, riding out his contract and stuff like that, Huey Fury would be interesting, but I only see that happening if it's a little eliminator. Well, Michael Hunter had that fight with Huey Fury and it fell through because Huey had some type of disease or sickness or some shit. What if Ngannou knocks out Fury? Joseph E. If Ngannou knocks out Tyson Fury, he will be the lineal champion. He don't have to be the WBC. He can be the lineal. You guys want to see the lineal? Wait. There's the lineal belt. That's what he would get for knocking out Tyson Fury. He can wrap it around his neck. Hold on, just flip it. He can wrap it around, hook it, and he'll be wearing it. Yeah, so the WBC belt wouldn't matter, and whoever, like, even if Tyson Fury fought someone and then won, nobody would give a shit. I would love that. You know why I would love that? Because see, if Francis Ngannou knocks out Tyson Fury without the belt being on the line, that shows you how insignificant the belt is, because everybody's pissed off at the weeby cunts anyway, because they know they're full of shit. They've been doing shady stuff for the longest. So when Tyson Fury, he loses credibility. So if a man, a champion, that loses credibility being a champion, that's going to infect the sanctioning body, because nobody's going to care about the WBC. The WBC, they will often proclaim the lineal champ being Francis Ngannou and being the unofficial WBC champ. I can hear Fury now. That's my belt, Kurt. Get it off of you, my boy. It's the lineal championship. Hell yeah, Tyson Fury come in there and choke you. The most exciting fight out there would be Usyk and Wilder. That's exciting too. And you know, and I saw in the 8th round, shit, Dubois caught Usyk with a couple rights, and I'm like, yeah, this dude ain't, like, he's good defense, but he's not he's not unhittable. Imagine Wilder doing this shit, bow, because he hit him, he kind of bobbled. You know what I mean? You know, Usyk does that little bobble when he gets hit. Joshua hit Dubois like that in the first fight. I think it was like the 9th or 10th round. No, yeah, it was like the 9th or 10th round in the first fight. Anthony Joshua versus John Fury. I'll fight you, you young bodybuilder juicing bastard. But yeah, that would be cool, man. That would actually be some good stuff. But anyway, man, I'm going to jump off of here. I got some more videos to complete. I will see you guys next month. You will have more videos later on tonight through the morning. For a lot of you, through the morning. For the rest of you, in the night, if you're closer to my time zone. But God bless you guys. Be safe. And everyone has been counterpunched. Peace.